GoodBuy, the show where we tell you about a thing and whether or not you should actually buy that thing. Today, that thing is the Nintendo Switch OLED model. The Nintendo Switch has been around since March of 2017, taking the world by storm and dominating the handheld market, something Nintendo has achieved time and time again. In 2021, we received an updated version of the Switch, with the OLED model. With a bigger screen, the previously introduced improved battery, and some quality of life design alterations, the Nintendo Switch OLED was a refreshing new take on the popular console. We'll go over what makes the OLED different, as well as reviews, details, and the price. First off, what exactly is OLED? To be brief, OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode, which means every single pixel of the screen is individually lit. This means that brights look brighter, darks look darker, and the overall image looks a lot sharper and more vibrant. The Nintendo Switch OLED has a larger screen, upgrading from the Switch's 6.2-inch LCD display to a full 7-inch OLED display. Additionally, the OLED model has a better kickstand that spans across the entire back of the Switch, holding it sturdy wherever you place it. Back in 2021, features editor Keen Mer reviewed the Nintendo Switch OLED, praising the improvement in lighting and visuals. He said, "The OLED is better and brighter, quite literally, than any of Nintendo's former Switch models. The battery lasts longer, the console and dock are more elegant, and the new screen is a game changer for handheld play." Overall, the OLED model is a huge leap in terms of appearance, with Keen stating that once you go OLED, you won't be able to go back. The Nintendo Switch OLED is going to last. Even in 2023, if a new version of Nintendo's console is a year or two away, we can imagine that the Nintendo Switch will be just as relevant and compatible for a long time yet. Think of the DS to 3DS era. As I mentioned earlier, the OLED model includes the improved battery life that some later Switch models got, jumping the average battery life up drastically. Even on intensive games, you could easily get 8 hours out of the OLED model, and maybe even more depending on what game it is. Now, if you're familiar with OLED displays or some older displays in general, you might worry about something called burn-in. This is where images that are displayed frequently or for long periods of time are burnt into the display, showing up faint images, text, shapes, or anything like that permanently. Luckily, this is not an issue with the Nintendo Switch OLED, and even most OLED displays available today have measures in place to make sure that the screens don't suffer from this. Play without worry, because burn-in is not going to be a problem. The Nintendo Switch OLED will cost you $350 or £310. This is $50 or £50 more than the basic Nintendo Switch, which sells for $300 or £260. If you choose to buy a Nintendo Switch OLED second-hand, then the price may be a bit lower depending on the seller. But these are the standard prices for a new OLED model at retail. Okay, so that's all great, but what are some people who own the OLED model actually saying? Jacqueline Zales says, "The Nintendo Switch OLED improves many aspects of the original model. If you don't have a Nintendo Switch, then it's definitely worth it for a small jump in price. Unfortunately, these differences aren't as noticeable if you play mainly while docked. Although the screen is improved, the quality of your television is all that matters while docked. Overall, this is a great choice if you don't already own a Switch and plan to play handheld a majority of the time." Evergreen lead Amanda Urick says, "If you already have a Switch, you're just getting another one with a visual upgrade and a better kickstand. But if you don't have a Switch and you're looking to buy your first one, the OLED model is a nice starting point since you're getting a slightly better version for around $50 extra." And Jacob Whaling says, "There's no doubt the OLED Switch looks great. The slightly larger screen and vibrant colors make playing in handheld mode even better. But if you already have a Switch, it may be hard to justify the upgrade. If it's your first time buying a Switch, it's definitely worth considering the OLED model, but only if you plan on playing in handheld mode. If you are planning on mainly using it docked, the regular model is probably the better choice." Overall, the general consensus is that if you already have a standard Nintendo Switch, then it's only going to be worthwhile if you really want that handheld screen upgrade. Functionally, not much else is going to be too different from what you already have. That said, if you have a Nintendo Switch Lite and are considering the jump, then there is definitely more incentive to do so, as the overall changes will be more significant, as well as opening the door of playing on the TV. It's a fantastic redesign of the widely popular console and brings it up to a higher and more modern standard. Having used an OLED model for a while now myself, going back to a standard one or a Switch Lite is a tough shift. If you don't have a Switch or only have a Lite, then grabbing the OLED model is absolutely a great choice. If you have a standard Switch, especially one with the improved battery life, then there may not be any real reason to switch over. Unless you really want that improved screen, it will offer an almost identical experience otherwise.